Hi everyone, Ross again, back with another James Bond review. This time we are talking about the final Sean Connery James Bond movie, which is a little bit strange because when we reviewed a couple of weeks back, I spoke about You Only Live Twice, which was, my favourite Sean Connery film. But at the time I mentioned that Sean Connery was gone. This was his final Bond film. He's off with whatever. He left. Didn't want to do the role anymore. And that was true at the time. Sean Connery was sick of the media invading his personal life, his private life. He was a little bit over the character. I believe he wasn't talking with some of the producers at the time. And he wanted out. He wanted out of the role. He wanted to stretch his wings a little bit. He wanted to see what else he could do out there. And he left. He quit. That was 1967. 1969, we had the fantastic, absolutely unbelievable performance by George Lazenby as James Bond 007 in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is sitting up on my shelf up there. Beautiful movie. Absolutely loved it. Review was out last week. Go watch it. It's great. Unfortunately, George Lazenby quit after one movie. He was done with the role. He didn't believe that James Bond was a character that could live into the 70s. He thought he was a lot bigger than what he actually was, George Lazenby himself, and decided that he had had enough of the role and wanted to leave. So he left. Also at the time of release, On Her Majesty's Secret Service didn't get the warmest reception upon release. Mixed reviews, you could say. It was still an extremely profitable movie, but it wasn't received as warmly as it is now. Now it sits in many people's top 5 James Bond movies of all time. Back then it was seen as a massive departure from what Sean Connery had given, and the public wasn't ready. The critics weren't ready. The public wasn't ready. No one was ready to see this type of portrayal of James Bond. And the producers, Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, thought, how do we win the public back? How do we get everybody back? Play it safe. Let's offer Sean Connery more money. Now, rumour was that Sean Connery was offered $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever it was. Online, I think I read $1.7 million, of which he donated the entire amount to a, I think it was a Scottish charity that did something with for school for children. I'm going to check it up. Give me a moment. Okay, so I have found it here online. It says he was offered $1.25 million. He was also offered a opportunity to fund 2 back-to-back movies of his choice, whatever he wanted. And the fee that he did receive, which was, again, $1.25 million, he used that fee to establish the Scottish International Education Trust, where Scottish artists could apply for funding without having to leave their country to pursue their careers. That is brilliant. Well done, Sean Connery. That's fantastic. And was it a lot of money back then? Yeah, of course it was. Think about it. Dr. No cost $1 million. The volcano base in You Only Live Twice, the last movie Sean Connery was in, cost $1 million to build just the base. Not the movie, just the base. He got a lot of money. And I say good on him. If he's using that for the right reasons, that money, which he did, good on him. I have so much to say about this movie, and in not great terms, unfortunately. This is my least favourite Sean Connery James Bond movie, my least favourite Sean Connery portrayal as James Bond. I'm not even going to be talking about Never Say Never Again, which was a remake of Thunderball in the 1980s. I think it was 1983. I'm not even going to be talking about that film. This is Sean Connery's last official James Bond portrayal.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
And I do not like this movie. I think Sean Connery is at his worst here. Also at his best in some scenes. I do like the snarkiness that he has in this film. I like that he's very sarcastic. I like that he's very playful, very jovial in this movie. At some points he comes across as extremely bored, like, just get me through this movie, give me my 1.25 and we'll all be good. I like some of the things he does in this movie. Some of the action sequences he's done in this movie are really good. There's a part in the movie where he's traveling on an elevator, on the outside of the elevator, on the roof, on the outside of a building, and he just stands there, and I don't know if this is a real shot or a fake shot. I can't tell, so if it is fake, well done everyone that made this movie. If it's real, well done Sean Connery for doing it, because I would not be doing it even for $1.25 million. Hopefully I've got the footage that's sitting over the top of this. It is awesome. So, as I said, it's my least favourite Sean Connery, James Bond portrayal, but I still like it, if that makes any sort of sense. Like, he's older, he looks more weathered, he looks unfit, but it works. There is something about it in this movie that just works. And I don't know why, because when I went into this movie, I thought to myself, honestly, my thoughts were, I do not want to watch Diamonds Are Forever. I do not want to review this film. I can't stand this movie. And then I sat down and watched it. Like I said, I work out and I watch these movies, and then I watch them again and again and again for the entire week. It's always on repeat with whatever I'm doing after that. And I sat down and I watched it, and I'm like, I don't actually mind it. And I went into it when I was working out thinking, and I was working out and I'm watching the movie, I'm like, I like this part. This part's pretty cool. I like this. I like that. I like these characters. I like that. It's such a weird movie. You are either going to really enjoy this movie or you're going to hate it. And when you look online and you check up people's rankings of their Bond movies, Diamonds Are Forever usually sits right at the bottom. It is like right at the bottom, and I can't fault people for it. You are either real negative against it or in the real positive camp against with this film. It is so perplexing to me because I will hate it one time and then really enjoy it another time. I just reckon it's a fun, enjoyable film that it kind of suits that weekend vibe. Like, in Australia, you would just turn on the TV, put on Channel 9, and it's on during the weekday on a Sunday, and you're like, all right, I'll leave it on in the background, I'll go do what I need to do, but it's always there when I pass through the room. I can see Sean Connery being James Bond, whatever, cool. And then there's other times where if I sit down and watch this movie, it will be one that I want to just skip through the entire American section of this film. I find that to be the most boring. As soon as they land on the US soil in this movie, I am bored. But not this time. Not this time. Let me give you a little rundown of what this movie is. Now, if you remember, at the very end, and I'm going to take you back 2 movies. If you remember, at the very end of You Only Live Twice, Bond has invaded the volcano base where Blofeld is. Blofeld finally reveals himself. They have a bit of a scuffle in the base. That side versus that side. Bang, 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 bang. People flying everywhere. Bond escapes with Kissy Suzuki, is it? Or just Kissy, whatever. Kissy. Blofeld escapes the base. The base blows up. Kaboom. The next film, which is on Her Majesty's Secret Service, George Lazenby now portrays James Bond. Telly Savalas now portrays Blofeld. They, have their little disagreements throughout the whole film. They find out, blah, blah, blah. Blofeld recognises, hey, that's Bond. At the very end of the movie, Blofeld and Bond have a massive, fight as they're going down a bobsled. And Blofeld ends up in a neck brace because he gets wedged like that in a tree. And at the very, very, very end of the movie, Bond is in his car. He's just married his wife, Tracy. They're driving. Bond pulls over. A car pulls up beside him. Irma Bunt, which is Blofeld's henchwoman, she pulls out a machine gun, rat-a-tat-a-tat, all along the car. Bond jumps in the car, they drive off, and then Bond sees my wife she was hit by the bullets, she's no longer alive. End movie. This movie begins, you would think with Bond getting revenge on Blofeld for killing his wife. No, I don't read it that way at all. I personally believe that in this film here, at the very beginning of Diamonds Are Forever, Bond is seeking Blofeld after he escaped in You Only Live Twice. I am 100% convinced in my mind that the producers wanted to just forget the events of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So in my mind, you go Dr. No, From Russia With Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and then you've got this film, which is Diamonds Are Forever. Forget about On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because clearly Bond in this film does not care at all about the death of his wife in the previous movie. The events of that movie make no sense. And it is so strange that they've chosen to do that, that I go into this movie with an instant bitter taste in my mouth thinking, why? Just the events of that movie happened. They may not have been received well. It doesn't matter. But the start of this movie, Bond is just going around all these different locations and he just keeps on asking, where's Blofeld? And everyone's like, Cairo. And he'll go there, then he beats up the next guy, then asks that person. Then he goes off to this area and beats that person up. And then he eventually finds Blofeld. And Blofeld's scheme at the beginning of the movie is to clone himself with plastic surgery. So he's using plastic surgery to change the appearance of some of his henchmen who are going to be his body doubles. And Bond kills one of the body doubles, then kills the clone or the body double of Blofeld. And we cut to the credits. The credits roll. We've got the title sequence, which is the brilliant song Diamonds Are Forever by Shirley Bassey, which is a banger, absolutely fantastic. I love this one, and I love it more than Goldfinger. Let me just say that. Then after the credits, after the title sequence, so we believe now, as does Bond, that Blofeld is taken care of. Blofeld's gone. He's out of the picture. For some reason, after the title sequence, we come back into this movie, and now it's about diamond smuggling. And there's diamonds being smuggled, there's people involved. You've got two assassins called Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd, who are awesome. I love these two characters. They are so fantastic. Every time they are on screen, you are like, I don't know what it is. I get Looney Tunes vibes out of them, like Wile E. Coyote. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why, but I get Looney Tunes vibes, and it so perfectly fits the tone that this film has. This film has, I don't even know how to explain it. The only way I can explain it, if someone really gets this reference, is look at Superman 1, the movie by Richard Donner, then look at Superman 2, and look at the parts in Superman 2 that Richard Lester directed. Richard Lester directed it and added a lot of comedy and a lot of little funny bits and things like that. This movie here has that feel all over it. And Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd really play into that. And it's done perfectly. Like I totally buy that tone, those two characters' tone, throughout the whole film. And so what they're doing is they're chasing everyone who has handled these diamonds. Anyone who comes into contact with the diamonds, they're killing. That's their whole thing. So what happens is Bond is trying to find out what the diamonds are used for, kind of thing. He poses as a guy called Peter Franks, meets up with, what's her name? Her name is... oh my God, I have completely forgotten. I cannot believe I've forgotten. I'm looking it up. Tiffany Case. I was about to call her Plenty O'Toole. No, Plenty O'Toole is a character in this movie that Bond meets. She's in it for maybe 7 minutes, and then she's gone from the film. Doesn't sleep with her. She has no reason to be in this movie apart from being a piece of TNA. And then she's eliminated from the film within 7 minutes. So that's really weird. But anyway, Bond goes to Amsterdam to get the diamonds, meets up with a contact there called Tiffany Case, who, when we first meet her, is pretty good. She is a really good character. She's smart. She stands up for herself. She seems like she can give Bond a bit of a run for his money. And then immediately after that, once they leave Amsterdam, she turns into this blonde bimbo. Hair colour not matching, of course. But she turns into this bimbo of a character, and I don't know why they did that to her. The first scene in Amsterdam when she's there, she's a really smart, intelligent character, knows what she's doing and everything. Gets to America, completely changes character, completely changes tone, and it makes zero sense to me. There is a sequence in Amsterdam that I absolutely adore, and it is, now, bear with me here. It is Sean Connery playing James Bond, posing as a person called Peter Franks. In an elevator, fighting against a guy who is Peter Franks, who Bond was posing as. Bond uses this fake foreign accent, has a fight in the elevator with this Peter Franks guy, ends up beating him, and the sequence is just fantastic. I really love it. It's close quarters. It's like maybe a meter by a meter. Like that's the size of the elevator. And they're just punching each other. Windows are breaking. Their elbows are hitting the back of it. They're punching, throwing each other. It's a really fun little sequence. But for some unknown reason, when Bond beats him, he's still posing as Peter Franks. He goes through his wallet and puts his own one in there. And when he pulls it out and you see the name James Bond, apparently Tiffany Case knows who James Bond is. Like James Bond is a celebrity or something. And it's always bugged me, like, you're meant to be a spy, but your name is so perfectly known around the world that a diamond smuggler knows who you are. I love Connery's reaction to it when he looks at the thing and he acts like really dumb about, that was James Bond?
Is that who it was? Well, it just proves no one's indestructible.
It's a really fun little thing. Like I said, Sean Connery in this movie, I like Sean Connery in this movie. I think I like Sean Connery in everything that he's done, Bond-wise. In this one here especially, I really do enjoy his performance. I think he gives look, he's bored at parts in it, but he does give a more comedic portrayal of the character. And it might not work for everyone, but for this tone of movie, it does. So anyway, he gets back to America. Then you find out that there's a character called Willard White, who is almost like a Howard Hughes. He's a recluse, lives in his tower, top floor. No one has seen him. Clearly, we know that this character, Willard White, is being played by Blofeld because they show a clip of him in his tower and you only see like the back half of his arm and it's dressed exactly like Blofeld is. And the whole idea, they're using the diamonds to create a laser in space that is going to threaten all these countries around the world with pretty much by destroying their nuclear weapons. So if you want access to this weapon, pay me. And you got access to this weapon now. And you're pretty much going to be the strongest person in the world with this space laser that's just flying around. Really? That's what I mean. They've clearly taken no cue from what they've done. No cue, huh? They've taken no cues from what they did with on Her Majesty's Secret Service. That serious, down-to-earth tone of that movie is gone. This is clearly playing up the angle of fantastical that we had with You Only Live Twice, and then up the ante a lot. And that's not a bad thing, but when you come from On Her Majesty's Secret Service into Diamonds Are Forever, the tonal shift is so flipped that it's like, for me, as someone who absolutely adores On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever is always one of those movies when I first watch it, I'm always like, oh, I'm so disappointed. And then the more and more I watch it, the more and more the tone just sits in, and then I just kind of go along with the flow. Now I'm having fun with the movie. I can forgive its flaws, and there are some, but I can forgive its flaws, and I just kind of enjoy it. And that's how I found this viewing. The first time I watched it was an absolute slugfest, as it always is. By the second time, I was like, yeah, all right. By the third time, I was laughing a lot more. By the fourth time, I was just like, oh, this is Bond. Yeah, this is the movie. This is what it is. I have fun when I watch it, though, but I have to give myself 1 or 2 viewings to get to that point. So I guess, in conclusion, yeah, it's fun. It is my least favourite Sean Connery Bond film. That I can say with ease. I feel like everything in this movie is a little bit off. Even the music by John Barry. I love the John Barry music. There is only one piece of music that I love, and if I have it, I'll try and put it in. And it's when the laser, the diamond space laser is flying around, and you see you see it destroying all these things on Earth, like all these weapons and stuff like that. And the music they use at that point very much seems similar to the music that I loved in You Only Live Twice. It's a very similar vibes, and I love that. But apart from that, I don't really enjoy the music in this movie. I do love the Diamonds Are Forever song, sung by Shirley Bassey. I've mentioned that. I enjoy that. Sean Connery makes me laugh in this movie. I don't know if he's meant to, but he does. He makes me laugh in this movie. Tiffany Case, she's gorgeous, absolutely stunning, as is Plenty O'Toole. But their uses in this movie are just kind of pathetic. Winton Kidd, brilliant, absolutely love him. Their deaths in this movie are humorous, very funny. Are they gay? Yes, they are. They are very gay, in love hitmen. And it is what it is. They're great. But I love the fact that they play up on that in this film. It's really done well. I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again now. I don't like the Las Vegas sequence of this movie, and it is a large chunk. It's probably a good over an hour sequence of this movie that I'm not a fan of. I do enjoy, there is a car chase sequence in this movie where Bond escapes from one of Willard White's compounds, and he escapes through the Las Vegas desert back to the main city of Las Vegas. And I do enjoy that whole sequence where he goes through, like, there's a filming stage where they're filming a mock moon landing, and Bond is running through, and the spacemen are moving in slow motion, and Bond's just ducking them like that, and he steals a moon buggy, goes off into the desert, then a motorbike, and then eventually he takes a red Mustang and he drives back. And then the sequence that follows that, which is Bond in a chase with the police, and he's in his Mustang and he's going through the city, is the action sequence is really, really, really good, and the car sequences themselves are they're top notch. That's really enjoyable. So if anything, that kind of saves the Las Vegas portion of the movie for me. But I don't have many good things to say about the Vegas areas. I'm on board. Whenever they go to the casino, I'm just kind of, looking away. Now I'm actively pulling out my phone and looking at my phone. I'm not even paying attention to the screen. And unfortunately, it's such a large portion of the movie that it does kind of ruin it for me. But beyond that, I can still enjoy this film. I can still find parts of it that I do like. I don't like Blofeld. Again, I think you know now that Blofeld for me will always be Tully Savalas. I like a character that is bigger framed, that is intimidating, that gets into the action and actually goes in there. I didn't like Donald Pleasance, and I don't like Charles Gray, who is Blofeld in this film. He's a larger frame. I don't like him though. I find him utterly annoying. I don't. Why is he here? Just, you didn't need... It should have been a revenge movie with Bond chasing down Blofeld for the Revenge of Tracy. That's what it should have been. We didn't get that. So it is what it is. Now that I've spoken about that, and I've told you my disappointment in the movie, let me actually get to a little bit of the stats. Now, my weight will be at the bottom of the screen. I'll give you an updated weight, so wow. Now, let me talk about that a little bit. The job that I'm currently doing now is a lot more physically active, and by the time I get home, I am absolutely drained. So working out on the bike is just taking it out of me. So I've mixed it up. I've been doing the bike, but I've also been walking a lot, and that's been really good for me. But I have been very relaxed in my eating lately, and I'm a little bit not happy with myself. So I have to refocus, repay attention to that, and begin counting my calories again. Because I feel like as soon as I stop counting my calories, my weight starts to even back out and then slowly go up. So I don't know what this is going to be, if I've increased or decreased. I don't know. I'm hoping for a decrease, but you'll know. If I'm happy, yay. If I'm sad, then it is what it is. But as for my other stats, let's get into this. We'll start with Bond's kill count, as always, as we always do, 7. Bond killed 007 people this movie, which that includes Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. And again, Blofeld does not die at the end of this movie. As a matter of fact, Blofeld at the end of this movie is just, he's in his like mini submarine, and Bond's got him on the end of a crane, and there's no conclusion there. He's, I guess, arrested. He's arrested. Let's go with that. Blofeld's arrested. The locations visited, I've got Japan, Cairo, France, London, Amsterdam, and then Vegas, which gives us a total of 6 locations. And he only bedded 1 woman, which is well done, Bond. Now, as for my calories burned, we had 900 active calories, and we have 1,262 total calories burned in a period of time. And it took me 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 45 seconds total to watch this movie over two viewings. Now, I guess my final thoughts on the film are that it is a Bond film that I can happily leave put aside. I'd never, if someone just took it out of my collection and I didn't have to watch it, I'd be happy with that. If someone makes me watch it, I'd be happy with that. It is a completely in the middle for me when it comes to loving it and hating it. I love parts, hate most, love this, hate that, this, that. It's such a strange feeling whenever I watch Diamonds Are Forever, whenever I talk about it, because I can see all the negatives, but then I look at it and I'm like, it's just such a fun movie though. Like, you can see people are having fun on screen, and I'm totally here for that. I'm not, I guess when I'm watching it, knowing what I know, I don't go in now, or I shouldn't go in, expecting anything other than what I know I'm going to get. I don't know if that made any sense, but my expectations for this movie are always here at like a 5, and this movie always delivers a 5 for me. I don't go in expecting a 10, and I don't go in expecting a 1. I go in with a 5, I come out with a 5, and I'm like, yep, that's what it is. And that's my final thoughts on Diamonds Are Forever. A completely middle-of-the-road James Bond film that I am happy to leave in the past, or happy to throw on for a week solid and continue watching it. It is a movie that I am both glad and upset that Sean Connery came back for. It is a movie that I am also very happy to put a pin now in the Sean Connery era. And I am so happy that the next film we're going to get, which is Live and Let Die, begins the era of Roger Moore. Now, say what you will about the man, but he clearly was in the role for many years and he did a fantastic job. And we will talk about that in my next review. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do anything you want to the below area down there when it comes to the thumbs up or thumbs down. Leave a comment, don't, share it, don't. up to you. Appreciate you all that have watched it. I hope everyone's doing fantastic, and if not, let me know in the comments below. You can follow me on Instagram, which will be put up here or in my face there, whatever. But until I see you next time, just remember, take care of yourself and have a good time.